Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. The punishment known as Yizhanghong is not explicitly recorded in Chinese history, but it appears in the historical Chinese TV drama Empresses in the Palace. In the first year of the Yongzheng reign, after an intense struggle for the throne, fourth Prince Yingzhen finally ascended to the imperial throne, taking the reign name Yongzheng. At that time, the country was in a period of stability, and the political atmosphere appeared calm and peaceful on the surface. However, beneath this tranquility, there were hidden currents within the palace, and the situation was far from peaceful. In the imperial harem, Huafei and the Empress were evenly matched, each with strong factions supporting them, leading to constant infighting and a highly dangerous environment. The young Zhen Huan, only 17 years old, along with her close friends Shen Meizhuang and Unveiling, participated in the imperial selection. Initially, Zhen Huan joined the selection just to fill the numbers but unexpectedly won the favor of Emperor Yongzheng. All three of them were chosen. However, Huafei's unreasonable behavior and relentless pressure caused Shen Meizhuang to tragically die under false accusations, and Unveiling's pure-hearted nature was corrupted. The once innocent Zhen Huan was forced to learn how to navigate the intrigues of the imperial harem, gradually transforming into a woman with deep schemes and strategies. Emperor Yongzheng, having already realized the ambition of General Nian Gengyao, ordered Zhen Huan's father to eliminate the Nian clan. Zhen Huan eventually defeated Huafei, but due to her resemblance to the late Empress Yuan, the Empress cleverly used the late Empress's old clothes to frame Zhen Huan. Zhen Huan's father was also falsely accused and imprisoned in a literary inquisition. At this point, Zhen Huan, disheartened, decided to leave the palace temporarily to seek spiritual refuge. Outside the palace, Zhen Huan received care from the 17th prince, Prince Yunli, and the two fell in love, willing to wait for the day they could escape the palace's confines. However, due to a false rumor of Yunli's death and Zhen Huan's desire to protect her unborn child and ill father, she was forced to, coincidentally, meet with the emperor. She severed her relationship with Yunli and returned to the palace, resuming her battle with the empress. With the birth of Zhen Huan's son, her father's name was cleared, and the Zhen family regained the emperor's favor, rising to prominence once again. After repeatedly avoiding the empress's schemes, Zhen Huan ultimately succeeded in bringing her down. But fate was cruel. The emperor discovered Zhen Huan's affair with Prince Yunli and poisoned Yunli. The emperor also suspected that Zhen Huan's child was not his own, and in order to protect herself, Zhen Huan ultimately allowed Yizhanghong to assassinate the emperor. After the emperor's death, Zhen Huan's adopted son, Hongli, ascended the throne and became Emperor Qianlong. Zhen Huan was honored as the Holy Mother Empress Dowager and lived in great wealth and glory. Yet, looking back on her life, Zhen Huan was merely the tragic protagonist of a sad chapter in the history of a feudal dynasty. It is worth mentioning that in the drama, the once powerful Huafei in the harem used Yizhanghong as a form of punishment for Xiachangzai. Reportedly, Yizhanghong was an extremely severe form of corporal punishment. It involved a wooden board, 2 inches thick and 5 feet long, which was used to repeatedly strike the lower body of the victim. While this punishment might seem similar to the regular use of a cane, it was far more brutal and often carried life-threatening risks during its execution. In ancient laws, the number of lashes administered during corporal punishment was clearly defined. Even an emperor, when punishing a subject, would specify a certain number of lashes, such as 20 or 30. However, Yizhanghong, Zhang read, had no fixed number of strokes. The punishment was delivered without counting, continuing until the victim's bones were broken and their lower body was a bloody mess. This is also where the name Yizhanghong comes from. The lower body of the victim would often become bright red, stained with blood. Considering the medical conditions of ancient times, surviving the punishment of Yizhanghong and recovering fully was nearly impossible. In most cases, the lower body of the punished person would lose all sensation, which was almost guaranteed. Despite this, for a concubine in the imperial palace, receiving this punishment was almost a death sentence. This was because, for a concubine, it not only meant severe physical harm but also the complete loss of the emperor's favor. An individual who loses sensation in their lower body would no longer be visited by the emperor. For eunuchs and palace maids, the consequences of this punishment were even more severe, as it would completely incapacitate them, leaving them without the ability to defend themselves and essentially no chance of survival in the palace. In fact, one could say that after enduring such a punishment, if they survived, they would be unable to care for themselves and might be better off dead. More importantly, the punishment of Yizhanghong was not just a physical torment but also a severe psychological torture. In ancient society, a woman's chastity was highly valued, especially for an imperial consort. As a concubine of the emperor, a woman's body could not be seen by anyone, not even a eunuch. However, to administer the punishment of flogging, her lower body would need to be exposed and pressed against a stool while being beaten. Once Yizhanghong was carried out, even if the woman somehow survived, from an ancient perspective, her chastity would be completely lost. For a concubine in the imperial palace, losing her chastity meant that she could no longer receive the emperor's affection or attention. Even if she did not die, without the emperor's favor, she would exist only as a nominal concubine, living a life of merely receiving allowances and struggling to survive. Of course, few people in the imperial harem were subjected to the punishment of Yizhanghong. This extreme form of punishment was only available to consorts of the second rank or higher, and the empress, empress dowager, and the crown prince's consort. These individuals were all core figures in the palace. The empress, empress dowager, and emperor's positions need no further explanation. As for the crown prince's consort, she was the future empress and held immense importance. According to the hierarchy of the ancient harem, consorts of the second rank or higher were at least of the rank of 9 pin, and these higher-ranked consorts were usually deeply favored by the emperor and enjoyed a great deal of trust, having their own influence in the palace. Therefore, offending one of these powerful consorts, who held immense power in the harem and sometimes even in the court, could lead to serious consequences. They had the ability to use their influence over the emperor to ruin those consorts who made mistakes and were punished with Yizhanghong. These consorts could also convince the emperor to send the punished consorts to the cold palace. Once sent to the cold palace, a concubine's political prospects and survival chances would be virtually destroyed. According to historians, the power struggles between concubines in the imperial harem were sometimes more intense than those in the court. A single misstep could result in being ostracized or suppressed by competitors. This phenomenon was a typical product of feudal society, where women's status was very low, and a male-dominated society excluded them. However, with the passage of time, women's social status has significantly improved and is now equal to that of men, which is undoubtedly a positive change. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.